Instructor, Founder and Chief Examiner for Toogee Taekwondo, the International Toogee Taekwondo Academy. Welcome to your first lesson. Today I'd like to show you some of the basics of Toogee Taekwondo. When we come into the dojang, or the training hall, we need to pay respects to the national flags. We do this by bowing. Our feet are heels touching, feet apart, and our fists clenched by our sides. And we bow from the waist at a 45-degree angle. So attention, bow. Our ready stance is feet shoulder width apart and our fists clenched in front of our belt. This is a nice relaxed stance, the legs slightly flexed, ready for action. We need to move back and block, we need to move forward and strike, then we can so from this neutral position. We start each session with some warm-up exercises. We need to loosen up our hips first by rotating both directions. Loosen up our lower back, our hamstrings, touching the toes, holding down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Loosen the hips again. And down to the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And again, rotating the hips. There are many exercises we can do to warm up, loosen the body, prepare ourselves for the rigours for the training of Toogee Taekwondo. But predominantly, we're here to teach you the techniques of Taekwondo, not to be a trainer, an exerciser, so we keep our warm-ups to a minimum, and it's up to you to practice at home. Stretching our legs in a front stance. This puts the pressure on the rear leg. It gives us practice in our basic front stance. Change. Back up straight, hips to the front, rear leg straight, and our front knee should be above our ankle. And change. And change. Exercise to the side to stretch our hips, loosen our hip joints. And rotate again to loosen up. And twisting left, to the right, left, to the right. We can also practice our front stretching exercise from a stance with the leg raising position. We start off and raise our leg up and back. Up and back, up and back. Changing stance, up and back, up and back, up and back. With these exercises, we should keep our legs straight and our toes pulled back to stretch the calf muscles, to stretch the hamstrings, and to make the Achilles tendon a little bit more flexible so we can get the correct kicking position for our techniques. Strengthening the thigh muscles, just lowering ourselves down, back up straight, feel the pressure here on the thighs. relax, and stretch. And relax. And breathing out, stretch down towards our left toes. Breathe in, breathe out to the right. Breathe in, breathe out to the left. Breathe in, breathe out to the right. Exercise for stretching our legs in a side kick position. Just sitting on the floor in a nice comfortable position with our legs apart. Back up straight, head straight. Legs apart at a comfortable width. You hold the position for a little while, the muscles relax, which allow you then to push forward to open up the stretch a little bit wider. Again, after holding for a little while, our muscles relax, feel the tension go out of the hamstrings, and we can stretch a little bit more by pushing one leg out. We do this each day, and we gradually increase the amount of flexibility in our groin area, and therefore we can kick higher. Hold for 10 to 20 seconds in each stretching position. One last time, moving out. Place your hands at the back if you wish, to give yourself a bit of support and keep the legs, keep the back up straight. And relax, loosen the leg muscles. And when we stand up, just loosen the hips again. Of course, there are many other exercises that we can do, hundreds of exercises, but that's just a few basics that we need to do each day to keep ourselves limber. As we get older, we need to keep our bodies active, to keep our bodies working, to make sure they don't seize up, so we can enjoy a long, active life. There are a number of stances involved in learning the art of Toogee Taekwondo. Today we're just going to learn 3 basic stances: a sitting stance or horse riding stance, a front stance, and a back stance. These are the main stances that we use, so we'll work through those today. Horse riding stance is used mainly for an exercise where we practice our punching and our blocks, but it can also be used in a sideways stepping motion when we're fighting, when we're sparring. So feet are twice as wide as our shoulder width, toes pointing straight ahead, and our knees are bent. Sitting, as if we're going to sit down on the edge of a chair. Keep our back up straight, so our centre is here in the middle, so we can flex if we need to keep our stance strong. From this position we practice our punching. So hands out in front, we need to clench our fists correctly, so roll the fingers in onto the palm and bring the thumbs across onto the knuckle, second knuckle of the hand, okay? Making sure that the fist is straight and in alignment. We should be striking with the first 2 knuckles of the hand, and the fist should be vertical. So we need to tuck the hands into this correct position. As we practice our punch, we have our forefist in the correct striking position, and our other hand is back on our hip in a reverse position. So as we change places with the hands, we rotate the fists into the correct striking position. The rear hand is back cocked, ready for the next technique, and the striking hand is in the correct striking position. Practice this exercise until you get the correct movement of the hands. This rotating movement applies not only to strikes but also to our blocking techniques. We do it fast, but we also need to utilise our body weight and our hip rotation. So we twist our hips as we strike to bring our weight into play. So the striking hand, as we pull our fist back onto the hip, our hip will rotate back slightly into the cock position. So as we strike, the hip will come forward with the striking tool. At the same time, we need to drop our weight down. So the hip comes back, and as we strike, we drop down. And down. Back, and down. Hip back, and down. So each time we're dropping the weight to give us more power, more weight behind the strike. And back. So from the side, sitting stance, bottom sitting as if we're going to sit down on a chair. Feet twice shoulder width apart, back up straight, looking at our target area. Or if we're looking to the target to the side. Punching this time from the side, hips back, drop the weight. Hips back, drop the weight. Hips back, drop the weight. So of course this is an exercise that we do to develop our leg strength and our stances, and also to learn how to strike properly with our forearms, with our hands. It's not something that we do in a normal part of sparring. The next stance we learn is a front stance or forward stance. So our feet are 1.5 times as wide as our shoulders and twice a normal step long. Back leg is straight, like a brace on a fence post, to hold it here against our centre of gravity to make it strong. Our front leg is bent with the knee above the ankle. And this position gives us the best possibility of a strong block or a strong strike if we need to defend ourselves. We'll practice our punching from this position as well. From the side, twice shoulder width long, 1.5 times shoulder width wide. So we can flex the hips sideways, backwards and forwards, keep a strong base, nice and mobile if we need to be. But the main thing is it's strong with our body weight dropping into the attack or into the block. When we use our front stance, we need to keep our balance and the width of our stance. So we always utilise our centre of gravity. So as we move either forward or backwards, we shift our weight to the centre and then step out diagonally to give us our width and our length again. Balance, step out, and move into our stance. Balance, step out, move into our stance. And the weight comes down to give us that nice, strong, balanced position. From the side, stepping forward and rotating into our finish position. Stepping forward and rotating into our finish position. When we turn around, it's a double step to bring our width and our length back to the same position. In and out, twist the weight and drop it down into our finish position. The blocks that we learn in our first lesson, in our front stance position, are low section block to protect the groin and raising block to protect the head. The low section block, we bring the arm across. So as we step out into our stance, our arm comes up above and comes down across the body to protect the groin, lower abdomen area against the kick to the front. One hand comes out to pull back to give us more speed into the blocking technique. As we block, we pull back on the other hand. Okay, we step in and out, rotate and drop the arm down to protect our groin. Balance, step out, rotate and bring the arm down to protect. Balance, step out and block. Balance, step out and block. raising block, we're protecting the head against a downward strike. From the same position, one arm goes out, you pull back to give us the speed, and the blocking arm goes up to protect our head. So as we step out, the arm goes up and protects. Goes up, balance, step, and block. Balance, step, and block. Balance, step, and block. In this position, we can also strike, moving forward and punching. Next stance we use is called back stance. This is the most common stance that we use. The feet are in the shape of an L. We start off from the sideways position with our feet in an L shape and we step out. 1.5 times the length of our shoulders, and our rear foot is pointing to the side at a 90 degree angle, and our front foot, our front knee, our hip, our guard and our eyes are pointing directly at the target. 70% weight on this back leg. This way it's nice and flexible. We can move in different directions if we wish to without too much effort. From the front foot, knee, hip, fist and eyes all pointing directly at the target. Rear foot is pointing to a 90 degree direction to the front foot. This is our guarding position. Front hand up with the elbow down, shoulder height, so we're looking over the top of this knuckle, like the sights on a rifle. And the rear hand here, protecting our solar plexus, and ready after the block to counter-attack if we need to. 70% weight on the rear leg, 90 degree angle in the rear leg foot, and front toes, knee, hips, fist and eyes pointing at the target. To change direction, it's a matter of just shifting the feet from one side to the other. Find your centre, shift back slightly to give you the weight distribution of 70-30. From our back stance position, we have a number of blocks that we deploy and also a number of striking techniques, as well as our kicks. So our guarding block, our back stance is used predominantly for 80%, 90% of our training, for all our kicks, in our sparring and during some of our step sparring exercises. When we prepare for sparring, we use our guarding block. Side, our arms come through together and protect. One protecting the solar plexus, this hand protecting the face if necessary, or to the ribs. Keep this at a right angle, so it's shoulder height and ready to protect up or down if necessary. This is our fighting stance, our guarding block. This can be done with a closed fist or with an open hand, knife hand guarding block. There are a number of other blocks that we use, mainly for sparring and for our self-defense from the back stance position. The most common one is an outer forearm block, which is utilised from the outside of the body, blocking across the body. Next block is called inner forearm block. This block comes from the inside of the body to the outside. We utilise the inner forearm as opposed to the outer forearm for the previous block. So as we block, heading backwards, we bring our forearm across our body and bring it out to the outside, from the inside to the outside, blocking with the inner edge of the forearm. Bony bit either side, utilise the blocking, not the soft, back or front. In our back stance, we utilise the body shifting movement to make it easier. As you get older, the body doesn't work quite so well. We need to make our body work as easily as possible. Not just for older people, but for younger people as well. So we utilise our feet to shift the body into position to save energy. So with our back stance from the side, as we move, we rotate our rear foot. So our hips rotate, we rotate our front foot as well. So we lift the toes and turn the front foot out on the heel, raising the rear foot, rear heel, so the hips turn. Then we can step through to our right without any problem. Moving backwards, we turn the rear foot to the finished position and step back to our desired length. Shifting. Shifting, shift. This foot now is finished, and we can step through into our finished position. Shift the front foot, raise the heel of the rear leg, and step through. Turn and step. Turn and step. Going backwards, the rear foot turns, we step back. It's easy to judge our length, our distance, and get a nice strong stance as we step. Rear foot turns, stepping back. When we're going forwards, we utilise the turn of both feet. Front foot out to the side, rear foot stepping through into finished position. This foot's finished, this foot steps. Backwards, step, and again. Turn the feet and step. Turn the feet. Step. The body turns into the correct position for the next movement. Turn and step. There are three basic kicking techniques that we utilise for beginners. The first one is a front kick, because it goes to the front. Kick straight in a straight line towards the target. From our L stance going in block position, we're raising the knee, tucking the leg back towards our bottom, and thrusting the foot out. Knee up, and thrust, and back again. Knee up, and tucked, and thrust. Up, kick, and thrust. From the side, we're utilising an upward raise of the heel towards our bottom to tuck our kicking tool back so that we can drive it out with more speed. So as we raise the knee forward towards the target, pull our heel back towards our bottom, knee up, and thrust it out. Knee up, thrust out. In, out, go. In, and out. Again from the front, knee up, foot toe tucked up close to our bottom, striking the ball with the foot. So flatten out the foot and kick with the ball. Pull the toes back and strike the ball with the foot. So when our leg is out in kicking position, our foot should be straight, our instep straight, and our toes pull back. Tuck, lift the knee, aim at the target, step down. The next kick is a side kick. Side kick again is a straight line kick. We're utilising the rotation of the body at the last moment of the technique. Same as we do when we're doing our punch. Rotating at the end, rotating. Side kick, we do the same thing. As we do for a front kick, but at the last moment we rotate our body around so that we're striking with our foot in a horizontal position and striking with the heel of the foot. As we go to move, we turn this foot out so the hips rotate naturally, raise our knee, up, And as we thrust out, we turn our body to the side. And then back. Guard, rotate, knee up, foot tucked, and thrust out. Rotate, knee up, heel tuck towards the bottom, and snap out. Rotate at the end. One last time. From the side. Rotating the standing leg so the hips roll. Tucking the leg up tight. As it extends, turn. The third kick we use is called the turning kick. We utilise this kick in a circular fashion, aiming to go around our partner's strong guard. So in a guarding block position, instead of coming through straight, we're raising our attacking tool in a circular fashion from the side. So we strike the target at a 90-degree angle using the ball of foot, or if it's a high kick, sometimes we use the instep. Again, we utilise our roll of our hip, we tuck our heel back towards our bottom, and then we extend the leg as the kicking knee comes around onto the target. So in a circle, up, and down. Tuck, circle, and kick. Circle, and kick. Tuck, foot turns out, drive the leg straight up from the ground in a circular fashion, tuck the leg, tuck the knee, point the knee towards the target, and strike. Down below. From the side, rotating, knee comes up in a circular fashion, knee points to the target, and kick.